Hello everyone, welcome to Around the World.
In today's video, we're going to take a little look at Canada. So let's go. English is the language of 2 out of every 3 Canadians. Much of the other Canadians speak French, while a large number speak both French and English. These are the 2 languages of Canada today because the British and the French were the first white settlers in the country. Many of the Frenchmen were peasants who set up their farms along the River St. Lawrence, and their descendants still farm the same land. Thus, most French Canadians of the present day live in the province of Quebec, whereas the people of British origin are much more widely scattered throughout Canada. Canada's largest city and chief seaport, Montreal, is in Quebec province, standing on the St. Lawrence, 1,000 miles from the Atlantic Ocean. Quebec, also on the St. Lawrence, is a much more smaller but more picturesque city. The lower town, behind the docks, is just like the old part of a town in France. It is connected with the much more modern upper town by steep winding streets, which have quaint French names. One of Quebec's most famous buildings is the beautiful Chateau Frontenac, a hotel built like an old French chateau. Since the opening of the Seaway, open ships can steam far beyond Quebec and Montreal to ports on the Great Lakes. Between Lake Ontario and Lake Erie, they pass through the Welland Canal as to avoid the Niagara Falls. These famous falls are in 2 parts, the Canadian or Horseshoe Fall and the American Fall, each about 160 feet in height. Every year, over 2 million Canadians and Americans come to admire the beauty and grandeur of Niagara Falls. The capital city of Canada is Ottawa. A vast area of forest stretches over Canada, almost from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean. During the autumn and winter, tens of thousands of lumberjacks work in the forests, felling immense numbers of spruce and other trees. They convey the logs on sledges drawn by horses or caterpillar tractors to a nearby frozen river and pile them on the bank or on the ice. In the spring, when the ice melts, the men float the logs down the river to the sawmills. Each province has an army of firefighters to deal with forest fires. Some men keep watch in lookout towers, others patrol in aircraft, others use firefighting equipment when a fire breaks out. The northern provinces of Canada, the parts of Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta, live in the forests, but their southern parts consist of grasslands or prairies. These are the great wheatlands of Canada. The farms are divided into huge level fields on which the farmers cultivate their crops with the most modern machines. Most of the grain they send by rail through Winnipeg, the city which is known as the gateway to the west. West of the prairies are the Rocky Mountains, where many Canadians from the east like to spend their holidays. There they can enjoy hiking, fishing, boating, mountain climbing, as well as lovely views of lovely snow-clad peaks, glaciers and lakes. Beyond the Rockies is British Columbia, which has a milder climate than any other province. That is probably one reason why so many British Canadians have settled there to work as lumberjacks, miners, farmers or fishermen. In the forests, the lumberjacks live in camps, which contain bunkhouses where they sleep, a cookhouse, and a dining room and storehouses and stables for their horses. Deep in the forests are the lonely log cabins of the trappers. These men earn a living by trapping fur-bearing animals and selling the skins at trading posts. They catch enormous numbers of muskrats, from which musquash furs are obtained. More and more furs nowadays comes from fur farms, where animals are kept in captivity. The owners of the fur farms keep such animals as the mink and the silver fox, which have very valuable skins. In the cold, desolate lands of the Northwest Territories, the chief plants are mosses and lichens on which the caribou feed. In Dawson City, capital of the Yukon Territory, was once crowded with men from all over the world who came to seek their fortune in the Klondike Gold Rush. At Port Radium, on the Great Bear Lake, for hundreds of square miles around small settlements, the only human beings are a few trappers. Most of the Canadian Eskimos, or Inuits as they like to be called, live along the Arctic coast on the great islands of the Arctic archipelago, such as Baffin Island. They catch fish and hunt seals, which provide them with meat and skins for their clothing. Here and there, a Caucasian lives amongst them, usually a missionary, or a doctor, or a member of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. The Mountie has the job of keeping law and order over a vast area. Like the Inuits, he often travels along the snow-covered land on a sledge drawn by huskies. When the Inuits go on a seal hunting expedition, they build themselves round snow shelters or igloos. Some of them build a larger type of igloo in which they spend the cold, dark winter months. In the warmer weather, the Inuits go seal hunting and fishing in their canoes or kayaks, which they paddle along the ice floes with great skill. Most of the Eskimos of Greenland live along the west coast, for the whole interior of this huge island is covered with a gigantic ice block thousands of feet thick. Some Inuits in the north still hunt the seal, polar bear and walrus, but they are chiefly fishermen. And we've reached the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like, comment on the video and subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with future videos. See you soon.